What's going on, everybody? It's your boy John from GamerDuo here, welcoming you back to another episode of the Power Rankings. This is week number 9. We're heading into a tough stretch in the NFL season. Of course, I messed up and definitely forgot to do my power week or power games of the week, but we'll get to there. I already have like 2 of my picks anyway, so that works. But anyway, hope you guys are having a fantastic day. If you guys like these power rankings, let me know in the comment section below or leaving a like. Let's go ahead and get this started though with obvious number 32, the New York Jets. They trashed though. They really are. They got wreck-a-ronied. Of course they did. In week 8 by the Chiefs, 35-9. Kind of what you expected from this team. This team was not going to do good against the Chiefs. This game just went exactly as handed. This team's going to get some rebuilding on, and we're going to move forward to the Cowboys, who also got destroyed and didn't even score 10 points against the Eagles. This team is in trouble. Okay, and here's the thing with this team being in trouble. They got, I think it was DiNucci, I believe, is their quarterback. Yeah, Ben DiNucci. And I don't know what they're going to do with DiNucci. He did not play well. That defense actually only allowing 23 points is actually a very good thing, considering this defense has been bad the entire season. That is the least amount of points they've given up at all this entire year. But offensively, you almost think, what could this team do? Zeke's not getting the yards per carry average that you're looking for out of Zeke. 3.3 yards is not that great. And then you also have the Ben DiNucci completing 50% of his passes and 180 yards. You need a more gunslinger type that can run around and do something like Dak Prescott. And it almost makes you think, why isn't Dallas going out and getting a quarterback? They're down to their third string. Quarterback's the most important position. There's some QBs out there that you can get. And I'm surprised they haven't even reached a 1-year term agreement with somebody for like a really cheap deal, considering their cap situation isn't terrible. You could easily get somebody for maybe at this point, I'd say $5 million. And you would think, but no. Currently, Dallas is deciding they're not going to do anything. I don't know what they're going to try and tank for, if they're going to tank for anybody, but Dallas is in trouble, and I don't understand their situation or why they haven't tried to do things. They just don't look like they're trying to get better. They're just they hit the reset button, and I don't know how that's really going to bode for this team, and if that's going to help them or not. Next, we got the Washington football team. They are actually going to drop 2 spots during their bye week. And a lot of people think, why did you drop under the bye week? I think a lot of the other teams, realistically, they showed a better performance than football team and what they can do and what they can accomplish. It'll be interesting this week to see how they do against the Giants, who have been stepping up defensively. Especially with the way this offense just hasn't been good. We'll see the potential of a turnaround, but currently they are down 2 spots. And talking about the team that they're going to go against, the New York Giants, they are going to go up a spot. I think they did well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They played a great game. They ultimately could not finish that game, which you really look at it and you're like, oh, you couldn't finish the game, blah, 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 blah. But Daniel Jones threw 2 interceptions. I think if there's a year to draft a quarterback, this is going to be a year for them to do so. Daniel Jones is not a franchise guy. He will not be a franchise guy. He will never really be a franchise guy. And I think this is where you go, okay, you know what? We messed up. Go get another quarterback. Get a better quarterback. This is a quarterback-filled draft. Their defense has actually been playing really well throughout the season, so I really want to see their growth on the offensive end next season. We'll see what happens with them. Next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars dropping a spot. Makes sense. The Jaguars, they're on bye. More teams on bye dropping spots. But a lot of the bottom half of the league actually played really well this week, so we can kind of get into more as it continues. Next is the Denver Broncos, who actually go up a singular spot. A lot of people will probably be really upset that I only moved them 1 spot up, but it's the Broncos just don't look like a complete team, and they really haven't this entire season. They beat the Chargers. But the Chargers are just very well known for blowing leads and messing up and having issues. but they also compete more in games than the Broncos do. So this was, I think, a classic Chargers screw up. I could say other words, but I'm just gonna be PG for right now. But yeah, classic Chargers mess up, and I think we'll see how this team progresses, what this team wants to do as we go further on. But I don't think this team is still yet a premier team. But we will continue to see as the season goes on. Another team that's going to be 26 is the Falcons, who are going to move down a spot despite the win against the Carolina Panthers. Honestly, I did see an improvement, but there were mental errors still, like coachable mental errors still happening. And you beat a divisional opponent, so that's good, cool. But that divisional opponent also had some issues. I believe that Bridgewater was out for a period of time in that game. Let me double check before I say anything, but I believe he was. Yeah, he got injured for a little bit, not a lot, which is not a good thing. You don't want that to happen, but he did come back, which is nice. Stats-wise, though, you can tell they beat the Panthers. There's no way you don't beat the Panthers with the way that they played. So kudos to them. I want to see them continue this stretch, though. I need to see them play better and do better before I'm like, okay, they're a better team. Right now, I'm just giving them the this is the test game. This is the test game, so to speak, where they go against the Broncos. We'll see if they beat the Broncos. The Broncos might be able to move them up a little bit more. Next, we have one of the bigger droppers, the New England Patriots. It's so weird to talk about the Patriots this early in a power rankings video, but you lost to the Bills. Again, the Bills are not a bad team, and dropping you 4 spots is a little bit harsh. I can see that, but a lot of the teams around them played better. The other thing, too, is this Patriots team couldn't get anything going. This is the 26th ranked rushing defense, and you can see that they were doing that. They were doing good at running the football, but they couldn't stick to that. The game plan, the fact that they stuck to it as long as they did was great. But their defense, even though, you can control the game, you can control the clock, even though they really didn't control the clock. And that's the biggest issue I saw, is that they needed to control the clock better. They needed to limit the possessions. I think if they control the clock better, they win this game. Especially because that's one of the weaknesses of the Buffalo Bills, and you couldn't exploit it the correct way. Long, methodical drives take the Bills out of it slowly. Just drive that dagger in and in and in, and you're good. And then you avoid what happened. And it was like, again, it was one of those, they could have done better. They didn't. And, you would think that Cam Newton would have performed better in that kind of a circumstance, and you just got to see that he didn't really perform that much in a circumstance in which it's supposed to be a strong suit. So anyway, continuing forward, we have the Houston Texans. They are going to go ahead and drop 2 spots. Again, off the bye, they're dropping 2 spots because everybody else moved and did better. I would not count the Texans out. This is a week that we can see if we can count them out or not. If they blow out the Jacksonville Jaguars like they're supposed to, then they're good. If they don't, then that could be tough. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings actually doing something good. They move up 3 spots after a stunning 28-22 victory in Green Bay to split the series, which is crazy. Crazy to think about that. Like, they did it. They did something. Again, it was a divisional game. I'm not going to overreact too hard. A lot of people are like, why aren't they like Chargers level? They're not. The Vikings still have some work to do, but they are a tough opponent. They are a very, very tough out. Their point differential is so low. It is so ridiculously low. And with the teams that they've gone against, I think they've gone against one losing record team, and that's the Texans. And like their point differential is 29. Yeah, 29. That's a super, super low average. 29 points. That is a massively low average, and you just keep that up, and I want to see them continue to get better and do better. And we'll see what happens. Next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to go up 1 spot after their win. Their offense, getting only 23 points against a team that is averaging almost 38 points a game. Very, very skeptical, very scary. They're going to win their division, but they are not the greatest team in the world. They are definitely record beneficiaries, if you will, like teams that shouldn't have the record they do, but their schedule is just very good for them, very kind to them. So that's where I guess I am with them. Next we have the Detroit Lions. They're gonna drop 2 spots after their big loss to the Indianapolis Colts by 20. I predicted this to happen. I figured that this would happen. I was depending and thinking about dropping them to 22, but I didn't yet. I'm not gonna overreact. They're 3-4. They're not terrible. This is going to be a very big test game, though, to see if they are good enough to be in that playoff conversation. I don't really think they are going to be in that playoff conversation. I really want to see if they can be that 7 or 8 win team. And this is really going to be the game to do it. This is going to be the game to prove it. I'm setting this up to be a prove it game. And it'll be crazy to look at, crazy to see what'll happen. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Staying at 20. Again, they lost by 1. They collapsed, but nobody really showed me a better performance, or better consistency. So I'm going to keep them where they are. They've just lost a lot of tough games. They are doing it the Chargers way and failing like all the games that they really shouldn't be. But next, we do have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Joe Burrow-led team being our biggest riser of the week, +5 after a big win against the Tennessee Titans this week. Honestly, I don't think anybody would have expected this team to be where they were. They are 2-5-1, so yeah, their playoff hopes are probably not there, but they have been a very tough out throughout this season. You're like, oh, what game are they going to win? Are they going to actually win a game? How is it going to work? What's going to happen? Now they get to go into their bye and prep for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and honestly, that's going to be a really fun game to watch. I can't wait to see how that goes. I don't think that the Bengals will win that game, but they could. That's a potential, because it's a divisional game. It could be the upset of the year. But if this wasn't the upset of the year, like, the Tennessee Titans really did it. The Bengals did a number on them. And they won in a way that they could, right? And Burrow did pretty well. He played a pretty clean game, I would say. 26 for 37, 249 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not bad. But if you look at the stats, 1 interception, 1 takeaway, but taking care of the football is what the Bengals did last week, and it's nice to see it happening. Hopefully it continues. This Bengals team is not out of the count yet. I could see them sneaking in with their lighthearted schedule. Their literal only difference is their division, in which they have, I think, 3 divisional games on their docket left, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what continues to happen, and let's move on to the next team, which is the Carolina Panthers, who are going to stay put this week. I'm not going to ding them too hard losing in a divisional matchup. Again, I do it. I'm saying it. I'm not somebody who's going to ding you hard for a divisional loss. Divisional losses happen all the time in the NFL. It's 2 teams that know each other very well. It's going to be scrappy. It's going to be hard fought. And I'm not going to be like, oh, let's drop you 10 spots because you lost a divisional game. Like, yes, you looked pretty bad, but also you've been a competitive team, and I'm not going to just knock you out at this point. Next we got the San Francisco 49ers, who are moving down 4 spots, not because they lost in a divisional game, but more so because of injuries. Jimmy Garoppolo's injured again. You have Nick Mullins injured again. They have COVID issues. They have a lot of problems, and you can't fix those problems, but they're still a competitive ball club, and they're still going to make the strides, and they're still going to do a bunch of things to look better than your average Joe team. Now, if you look at the Packers are going to just, that's going to be a win for the Packers, but there's no question. But you have teams in that 11, I wouldn't even say 11, I would say 14 to 20, 14 and below, they're going to be competitive. I should even say 13 and below, you're going to be competitive, and you're going to play these games, and you're going to be tough, but you're not in a top 10 situation. And you're going to play it tough with a lot of teams, but I don't think you're going to beat a lot of teams. So that's kind of my analysis with the 49ers right now. Next we got the Cleveland Browns, only losing 1 spot after their loss. For a running football team, the fact that they did not run the football last week is very, very, very scary. like the super massive wind conditions should have set this Browns ball club up for some form of success, but the fact that it didn't is very, very bad, very, very scary. Like if you can't go into a super duper windy area and do what you did. You did not play well at all. The Las Vegas Raiders looked just dominating. And you look at even like the time of possession, double the time of possession the Raiders got in that game. And yeah, a lot of people could be like, oh, well, they stayed in it till the end because it was 6-6 until the fourth quarter. But the fourth quarter is where it should have already been handled. It should have already been dealt with. Like, this was a running game. This was a game that was supposed to be a run-heavy game. And the fact that with Kareem Hunt, you couldn't run heavy and you couldn't do that, that's scary. You had 16 called run plays in that game. You had more passing plays called in a massively windy area. That is a problem. That is an issue that needs to be worked out now. You need to be in control of these weather conditions at home. You are at home. You didn't have to fly. You didn't have to do anything. Like, and the fact that they failed miserably like that, that's bad. Bad coaching on that part, on that day. Kevin Stefanski has been a great coach, and I'm not saying, oh, fire Stefanski. No. Stefanski has been a great coach, but that situational awareness was scary, and that should have been taken care of early. Next, we got the Miami Dolphins moving up 2 spots this week. Good job for the Dolphins. I don't know how, as a Rams fan, you weren't screaming at your TV. You outgained them by 300 yards. They got 300 more yards, the Rams did, than the Dolphins did, and yet you still lost by 11. Like, how? I mean, there was 4 turnovers in that game, and a total turnover amount of 6 turnovers in that one game between the Dolphins and the Rams, which is insane to me. They only allowed 90 passing yards to Tua, and this is kind of what we expected, or at least what I expected. I expected this to actually be a win for the Rams because of the fact that I didn't think Tua was going to be able to carry and do the load and get all that stuff done, but they did it off of turnovers and just not needing Tua in this game, and that's insane. But that's a defense that a lot of people get scared about. And it's super cool to kind of see that this defense is going to carry them along. But what I want to see is I want to see this offense also move the ball and also take their part. But hey, they scored more than the Bears did. So speaking of the Bears, they're going to be next on our list at 14. I actually was debating on moving them up or moving the Dolphins ahead of them. I was not ready to do that yet. So we'll see. This offense is just bad. This offense is plain horrible. Like, it's so bad that if you score 20 points against them, you basically win. That's how this team works. Now you've lost Wims, who's actually one of your better players on this team. So they're getting worse on offense as we speak. And the Bears they're bad, and they just need to get better, but they're not going to. It's just hilarious to watch. Nice overtime win. That's why loss. It's kind of why I didn't knock you down, because you did play well against the Saints, but again, that's overtime is scary, and you don't want to get it there at all. Next, we got the Oakland Raiders. I called them the Oakland Raiders. Oops. The Las Vegas Raiders, who got a +3 boost. Situational awareness. Plain and simple. They knew their situation. They won. I think they're better than the Bears. They actually have offense. The Bears don't. But the Raiders are a team that you could see them in the playoffs very, very well. And if they do it, great. If not, they don't. But they are a team that you could see and be like, oh, they're a playoff team. Cool. Next, we got the Indianapolis Colts. They are going to move. They're going to stay put, actually. Excuse me. They're staying put at 12. Even after a big win, I couldn't quite move them up because you don't know what Phillip Rivers is going to do on a game-to-game basis. And it was really a tale of the second and the fourth quarter. The second quarter, the Lions collapsed, and surprise, the Lions collapsed in the fourth quarter. Yay! Like, who's not surprised? Not me. You give up 21 points, and you're technically, I don't think they were in the lead at all in that quarter, but they were close. And they went from close to dead in the fourth quarter. But I want to see what Phillip Rivers does, how Phillip Rivers plays. Hopefully he plays better and like continues his level of play, because then that'll raise this team. But oh my gosh, we'll see what happens. They're a big team to look forward to and look out. The Rams, same reason they're dropping down 3 spots. How do you lose when you outgain 300 points? It's turnovers. It's the Goff effect, if you will, and Goff really goofed that. So yeah, -3 for them. Next, we got the Buffalo Bills, who are moving up a spot. They took care of the Patriots. They did their job against a divisional opponent. The Rams faltered. They move up. Easy as that. Number 9 is the Tennessee Titans, who are going to drop 2 after their big loss to Cincinnati. That is scary. They're down. They've lost now 2 straight against NFC or AFC North opponents. We'll see how they continue, see what they end up doing this week against the Chicago Bears. It's going to be a pretty decently sized test. And we'll see kind of what happens in that test and what could go right and what will go wrong, how it'll work. Will the pressure get to Tannehill? Who knows? Next, we got the Cardinals moving up 2 spots on their bye week. Again, the teams up top, like I said, they faltered. Like the Rams faltered and the Titans faltered, so they move up. But they've just been a good team. I feel like they deserve being moved up. They play well. They do their stuff. I know that might be overhyped for this Cardinals team, but to me, it's not. To me, the Cardinals are legit contenders, and I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl, but they're a legit contender. Next, we got the Saints, who are going to move up as well. I believe they move up 3. No, they move up 2. That's your second overtime victory, though, so I do get a little sketched out and worried if I was a Saints fan. Actually, no one at work, but anyway, I'd be sketched if I saw a second overtime victory, because they could, as easily as they are 5-2, they could be like 4-3, which would be 3-4. They could easily have a losing record right now. Literally, they have their wins. None of their wins have been more than 1 possession wins, other than the first week against the Buccaneers. The rest, they have had a less than 1 possession game. So very easily, the script could be flipped. I don't know. I know it's sustainable as a Seahawks fan because I've done it. We've done it before. And they're on the right side of the coin, if you will, but they need to be better. They need to take care of the games early, especially against a team like the Bears, where you know they can't score 20 on a normal week and they score 23 against you, send it to overtime and almost lose. You need to be able to take care of teams that are like that, and that's scary that you just have not been able to. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers, who are going to drop a spot after their horrendous loss. But again, like I say it again, and I'm going to continue to say it, I'm not going to harshly drop you for a divisional loss. This is a divisional game. The fact that you were at home and lost is a little bit of a but also things happen, so I'm not going to drop you too hard. Next, at number 5, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up a spot. They just flip-flop. The Buccaneers, they did not perform as well as I would have expected against the New York Giants, but I want to see them continue to be better, continue to get better, and I think they will. As week 9, they get to introduce Antonio Brown. We get to see a completely new meshed team, and I'm gonna be enjoying this, the team and how they're gonna react, how they're gonna play. They need this win, and let's see if they can get it. Next is the Baltimore Ravens. They're gonna stay put. They did lose a tough game. It's going to be very nerve-wracking to see how they can play against the Colts. I haven't seen Lamar Jackson really play a good game against a good opponent yet, so hopefully we can see that at some point. It's kind of going to be necessary this week because that's a big one. Next is the Seahawks. They really dominated this game until the fourth quarter, giving up almost a record for the most amount of yards passing in a quarter. They were 14 yards away from giving up that record, which is very bad. Fourth quarter management needs to get better. They need to feel like they were in the control of this game the whole way through, which is great. It's great to have a team in control, But again, turnovers really help this team. They lead the league in points off of turnover, which is amazing. But also, you want to be able to move and drive the ball down the field, and we've done that a lot this season. And I'm not going to give too much harp because this was a good win, and the fact that I can say that and be like, oh, I didn't have a heart attack this week is a big advantage. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I believe in them this week. We'll see what happens. Next, we got Pittsburgh, who's going to stay put after they beat the Baltimore Ravens. Really good game. But I just need to see more from them. These close wins are not really going to cut it, and move you up. And then we got the Chiefs. Same situation. They're just blew by the Jets. And the Jets is basically a bye week, especially when it's 1 against 32. So they're going to stay put as well. But I hope y'all enjoyed again. Like I said, hopefully everything is amazing. Hope you guys have a great day. I love you all. Enjoy the Packers and the Niners. Peace.